What is happening? It is Bill out in the yard, and today I'm outside because I want to show you my newest and most favorite baby, the subcompact tractor. Ta-da! Okay, this is the Kioti CS2520S, and I absolutely love it. This thing is so cool. The analogy I was using with my buddy was, this is an iPhone, and all these implements are apps. It's hard to articulate to someone who hasn't had a tractor before, and I'm speaking from my own experience because I come from suburbia, how useful this thing is. It can literally do everything, and there is an implement for everything. And by implement, I mean these guys right here, whether it's the front loader, the belly mower, or the rear backhoe. There is just an implement for everything, and it is so useful. So let me talk you through my setup. We can do detailed videos on individual implements, but I kind of want to just talk to you in abstraction about the tractor, how I think about it, how I use it, and why it is just so freaking cool. Okay, so first things first. This is made by Kioti, K-I-O-T-I. I know, it's kind of funky. I never knew how to pronounce it before. And this is a subcompact tractor. So what does that mean? This is pretty much the smallest tractor they make before you get into those like garden ride-on mowers. But you can see it's still a beast. This thing still has quite a bit of power, can do quite a bit. And for me, especially since I'm not an actual farmer, this is just what the doctor ordered. This has about, I want to say about 28 horsepower. It's a diesel engine, so it's nothing crazy. You would think, based on the 28 horsepower, that this thing is not that powerful, but the way it's geared with the hydrostatic transmission, it can lift a lot. It feels like way more than 28 horsepower or 24, whatever it happens to be. Case in point, our nanny got stuck in a ditch, and she has a full-size Ford Explorer SUV. I hitched this bad boy right up to her with snow, put it in four-wheel drive, pulled out her SUV like no problem. And that's quite a bit more than the 28 horsepower would imply. So this thing's a monster. All right, a couple things here. As I mentioned a little bit earlier in the video, I have the front loader bucket on it, and this is probably the most useful implement in the history of implements. You can just about do anything with this bucket. So obviously you have less dexterity than a true arm, but with something like this you can lift over 1,000 pounds. If you are bringing mulch, moving rocks, taking trash cans down, shifting brush, I mean, you can just about use this for anything. Don't tell anybody, but sometimes the kids like to ride in it too, and they enjoy riding up real high. As long as you're careful, hopefully nothing crazy happens. Down here I've got the belly mower. So this is a finish cut mower. What that means is, you've seen those like flail mowers or things that are like trail mowers, things for just cutting a trail through some rough brush. That's not what this is. This can truly trim your lawn. And I've talked about this in a previous video. It is really cool. The tractor does so many things. It's not as good as a true designed mower, but it is just one of the many things that this Swiss Army knife of a tool can do. And then back here, hopefully you can still see back here, this is the, I'm actually just gonna go ahead and grab the camera. This is the backhoe here on the back. And let me just do this so you get a full around. This is the backhoe. This is like a mini excavator, if you will. I think it's quite a bit less full featured than that. And you can see mine on the small one doesn't have the thumb, but this thing is just really powerful. And anytime you need to dig a hole, it is super useful. You got a lot of dexterity in this thing. It's got these support wings here that come down. These guys right here will drop down and provide additional stability. It is super useful in the garden. Anything from, let's say we had a bunch of old mulch in a bed. I use this to scrape the old mulch out. My wife was doing it by hand, and I came in and just scraped it out in about 3 minutes with this guy, then used the bucket to pick up all the mulch, dump it out in the field, and boom. That 3-hour chore ended up being about 20 minutes with the tractor. This thing is a beast. It is my greatest love. No, just kidding here, but definitely one of my most favored toys, and something that gets used all the time. It's really easy to operate. It's got the rollover protection system here. It's got a brush guard on front. I mean, this is all like really standard stuff. It's not like I asked the dealer to hook me up with something crazy. A lot of folks will fill these rear tires with fluid. I think it's antifreeze. And what it does is it helps weight the tractor down so that when you are putting loads in the front bucket, you don't start to tip. I'm fortunate enough that I have the backhoe and the belly mower on, and those both serve to lower the center of gravity of the tractor as well as help balance it out. So I actually don't have these filled with fluid, and I've been pretty happy with that. It's pretty nice. Obviously with the tractor, this thing is built for power. It is not built for speed. So you will notice even in high gear, you do not get moving too fast here, but that's absolutely fine. You want this thing geared for power, especially with, you know, what did I say, 28 horsepower or something like that. Excuse me, you need every bit of that horsepower to help lift heavy things. This is just so phenomenally useful, and I struggle with it because it's like doing a video on an iPhone. Like, it can do so many things. What should I focus on today? So I kind of want to just introduce you guys to it, show you my setup. Actually probably need to re-grease some of the front implement here. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's just about at 10 hours since I last greased. But yeah, this thing is awesome. It's really, it can just do so many things. You can see here, it's got a handy little kind of toolkit box here that you can use to keep anything tractor related. So if you had like an extra key, I think I keep some tie down straps here that I occasionally use for my bucket. Other thing over here, and I'll see, may need to move the camera a little bit for you here. Yeah, right on here. On this front bucket, you can see I've got a couple aftermarket parts. So I got these on Amazon. I actually don't think they're that useful, so I wouldn't recommend it. But occasionally I do want to hook something on the bucket with like a chain. And it's just a lot easier if you have a designed hook here. So this required me to drill in some bolts, and I honestly think it just got a little tough. And I don't use them as often as I would have hoped. But yeah, you can get these suckers that will kind of create a nice bolt-on location for your tractor. There's just a million and one things that these things can do. There's a million and one aftermarket parts that will expand functionality, and it's really, really cool. One of those things that I never thought about needing, never really understood what I would do with it, right? If I don't need to plow a field, what will I do with this thing? But I use it all the time. A tree died, dug it out with the backhoe. Storm, branches down in the yard, I can use the bucket to help clear them, as long as you're careful and you don't rip up the grass. Taking trash down to the curb, but you need an extra mower. You've got the mower deck. You've got, who knows, right? Wanted to plant in the garden rather than digging stuff by hand. I was like, well, let me get on with my little backhoe and dig some big holes so that we don't have to. Just scraping the top of the land so that I could replant grass, right? Like, just had an area where, because of construction, the grass kind of died. I used the bucket to just lightly scrape it, and then plant grass seed and just push dirt over before I water. Like, there's just a million things that this thing can do, and it's so flexible. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I will definitely do some more in-depth videos. I feel like I could talk specifically about each implement in depth. I could talk about Kioti versus Kubota and their subcompact segment, which I did a little bit of research before I ultimately went with a Kioti. I can actually tell you why I think that was a mistake. Yeah, in general, this thing is super cool. I'd love to spend more time on it, but I don't want to make this a 45-minute video. I want to make it a reasonably short video. So just kind of want to introduce you to my setup. We'll call her Bertha for the moment, and yeah, hopefully we can get into it a little bit later. But thanks for checking out what I got here, guys. Hopefully you guys learned a little bit something, and if you have a larger property like I do and you're thinking about how to maintain it, definitely consider a tractor. All right, guys, looking forward to talking to you tomorrow. See you later.